I miss the desert. I miss the sea. And I miss waking up every morning, wondering what wonderful adventure the new day will bring to us.
Those days have come and gone.
Perhaps. Perhaps not.
I don't believe in magic. But a few times in my life, I've seen things. Things I can't explain. And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe. It's how hard you believe it.
Hello, welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast for the fifth and hopefully final entry in the Indiana Jones franchise, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Happy to be here. Talk about Indiana Jones and his chronic CGI.
Chronic, yeah, okay. Yeah. That would kick things off. What are your memories, feelings, Indiana Jones? Obviously, I don't think we were doing a podcast when the last movie came out, so
No, we weren't. Yeah, I love Indiana Jones. I grew up watching him. Dad, much like Star Wars, Dad showed me the first three movies when I was a kid. Watched them all a bunch. The second one scared me a lot. So I would happily watch the first and third one, but Temple of Doom I pretty much never liked watching because I found that one to be too scary when I was a little kid. But yeah, otherwise, so I have a attachment, at least slight attachment to this franchise.
I have never. No.
I was like,
No, I did watch them very late, like as a early 20s kind of thing. Didn't really watch them as a kid. But yeah,
nothing you just said surprises me.
Nothing. Yeah, it's surprising. Yeah, so watched all of them on VHS, or no, on DVD. It was on DVD.
I watched them on VHS.
And then of course I did see
Kingdom
of the Crystal Skull in theaters. So
yeah, same.
So yeah, that's our Indiana Jones history going into this discussion. All right. Please be aware we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot themes in any of the movie. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. It's currently playing in theaters everywhere. With that said, let's jump to our discussion of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Directed by James Mangold, written by Jez Butterworth, John Henry Butterworth, David Koepp, and James Mangold, based on characters by George Lucas and Philip Kaufman, starring Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Antonio Banderas, John Rhys-Davies, Toby Jones, Boyd Holbrook, Ethann, Isidore, and Mads Mikkelsen. In 1944, during World War II, American archaeologist Indiana Jones and his colleague Basil Shaw are in the French Alps to recover artifacts stolen by the Nazis. They prevent Jürgen Voller, a Nazi scientist, from obtaining the Archimedes dial, a device capable of time travel. 25 years later, Jones is uneasy over the fact that the US government has recruited former Nazis to help beat the Soviet Union in the space race. He's about to be forced into retirement from his teaching position because of his opposition to the practice. Voller is now a NASA scientist and ex-Nazi involved with the Apollo moon landing program, wishes to make the world into a better place as he sees fit by obtaining the dial, pitting him up against Jones once again. Basil's daughter and Jones's goddaughter, Helena Shaw, accompanies Jones on his journey for the Archimedes dial. Dylan, what did you think of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny?
I thought it was a okay, ultimately adventure, presumably for the love of everything. Last movie. I think there's actually a really good movie here, and it sort of just got lost amongst the weeds because the first half, I guess, was really, really good. I thought the pacing was well done. The action was I mean, it's not like I'm not going to say like it should win any awards for action, but the action is like typical Indiana Jones, fast paced, sort of rompy, pulp fiction or pulpy, sorry, not pulp, pulpy action and plot and everything like that. Everything's racing along at a nice pace, and then things just sort of get completely lost in the second half of the movie. And then walking out, because that's the thing, I never even checked the runtime going in, but then coming out of the cinema and just being like, fucking hell, 2.5 hours. No wonder, like, did that need to be 2.5 hours? And the answer is no. No, it did not need to be 2.5 hours. So I definitely feel like there is a great Indiana Jones movie hidden here. Unfortunately, that's not what we get. Instead, it's an okay one that I don't know who it's for, I guess is my thing. I enjoy it enough as someone who likes these movies, but I don't know who's like going to be flying into cinemas to watch this. I'll be interested to see how well it does. I liked a bunch of the people in this. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, of course, is the standout as most people would have expected. Harrison Ford still, it's Harrison Ford being Indiana Jones.
Yep.
He's fucking fantastic at this role and this character. So great time. I also really enjoyed Teddy, the Ethann Isidore. He was really good. And then Mads Mikkelsen was fine. It was just Mads Mikkelsen playing a Nazi, which is, like whatever, but I don't think it was like standout, which is whatever. I don't mind that too much. But yeah, it was sort of I don't want to say I'm disappointed because I never expected it to be great anyway. And in fact, for the first half, I was actually surprised how much I was enjoying it. And I sort of tricked myself into going, fuck, actually, you know what? Maybe they're doing it. and then sort of went off the rails.
Maybe that massive applause at Cannes was...
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement. The first half of this movie is like really, really fun, and action packed. Hyped, get super exciting, and then it definitely does stretch itself way too much in the second half of the film, and it has a bunch of those tropes of two competing forces for trying to find the same item. It's like, oh, they get the lead, and then, oh no, we got the lead, and we think we're going to be completely free of them, but somehow they find their way back to us. And yeah, the whole final third, just incredibly long. I was struggling. I was struggling to stay awake, to be perfectly honest. It's like, it says 2 hours 20. I think it was closer to 5 hours. No, 3 hours. I think it was the length of it. Like you said, lots of fun elements. Like the whole Phoebe Waller-Bridge Teddy relationship was really enjoyable. Harrison Ford, I feel like he's going through a little bit of a revitalization, like these last couple of years, like different projects. Like he feels like he's enjoying stuff again after being kind of a grump for a while. Because yeah, he definitely is having a lot of fun here. Mads Mikkelsen, far from his best villain role that he's played. There's kind of really nothing about him that's particularly villainous, I guess, other than he wants to do something bad. Like, other than his motivations, there's not really much to dislike about him.
It's kind of weird because they try and give you one scene where they show him being like a Nazi and being racist to the server or whatever I guess they're called, like the room attendant dude. But like outside of that, not really. I mean, other than he's a Nazi, I guess. And he's a Nazi, so.
I mean, yeah, Nazis are bad. I mean, that's as someone pointed out, it's a bit too simplistic. Why are we? How can we tell Nazis? Do you see that review?
No, I didn't.
No, someone's like, it's another one of these bloody movies where they're just punching Nazis. Terrible.
I mean, I love a good just punching Nazis is fun. You can try it sometime.
Hopefully you don't need to.
Yeah, hopefully you don't need to. But I mean, these days and age, you probably do need to be honest. No, I mean, I think the problem is obviously they try and show that he's a bad guy, and they're like, I think they they
You
go, "Hey,
he's
he's a
a Nazi.
Nazi,"
So that's
and they just
all you
lean
need.
on that. But the problem is like his characterization outside of being a Nazi is just not very interesting.
Well, his whole plan
or
is,
villainous.
Hitler was shit. I can do a better job.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not revealed to like the last 10
Yeah.
minutes, 15 minutes, whatever.
Yeah. So how about the opening? Like, obviously, we're in 1945 during the end of the war, and we get de-aged Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, for a good 15, 20 minutes. I want to say
I feel
it was
like
like
it's
a pretty
20
lengthy
minutes,
scenes. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the de-aging, the whole sequence?
It's hard to comment these things because there is that. I think it looks good, but I just think it's that cognitive dissonance thing again. So I struggle
Of you
sometimes
knowing
to
it's
go,
definitely not.
yeah, it's definitely not him. So I feel like the ultimate test for these CGI things is to have someone who doesn't know who Harrison Ford is watch the
Yeah.
movie and see if they think there's anything weird about him. Like that would be the test. But
It's like, wow, how did they do that?
yeah,
Did they shoot that footage?
show them afterwards. Yeah. But I thought it was fine. There's such fast motion, half like it's such a fast pace 20 minutes. I think that helps. Obviously, it's not these long monologuing moments with Indy like talking or anything. So I thought it was a great way to start the movie. It feels like the ending of the Indiana Jones film we didn't get, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much, yeah. Because what year did Crystal Skull happen in? I guess.
Well, during the war.
I guess it
still.
would. Is it during the Great War? Let's have a quick look.
Crystal Skull
Takes place in 1957, so it's like after.
Okay.
So technically, this takes place before.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Actually,
Crystal Skull.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. Fun seeing Toby Jones in there for a moment. Just you think you've got the lance, the spear that pierced Jesus. Apparently, it's a fake.
Yep.
The whole train sequence was very fun. Whether it's Indy trying to weasel his way through different cabins through the Nazis, or them just firing massive machine gun, accidentally killing every single Nazi on that train. Yeah, I think it was a really well put together sequence. Definitely one of the highlights, and definitely got the movie off to a good start. We do then flash forward to what was it, 1969. So not long after the moon landing happened. I assume it's the Vietnam War that's going on at the moment. Turns out Marion and Andy broke up again. It's kind of messed up how what the issue was, apparently. So Mutt, good old Shia LaBeouf.
Yep.
He went to the war, he enlisted, and died.
Yep.
And that's why he's not in this movie.
Worked out well for everyone, I think.
Yep. No. Some of us are Mutt fans, but
no one watching this movie going, man,
what this movie could have used?
Character was in this. Like,
some Mutt.
Look, Shia LaBeouf is good in the movies. Was he good in Indiana Jones? No.
No, he could have swung in right at the end and helped save the day. We do get Phoebe Waller-Bridge as, like we said, Helena Shaw. I think, yeah, great addition. She's fantastic, even though she's definitely playing a Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. She's not stretching in much directions other than like doing actiony stuff, which I don't think she's really done before.
No.
Because even she was in Solo, but she was a robot. She didn't do any like action stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really fun, and anytime she gets to give a bit of a monologue or talk and like have a bit of banter, it's like really adds to the film. And as the emotional core, I guess, of the film, I think she was really good. Even though I feel like her, well, yeah, she does have a basic. She's the classic archaeologist for treasure and that kind of stuff. you know, but femme fatale, I guess, kind of to
Not
the
really. I don't feel like
she's like, well, she's betrothed to some dude in
yeah, but they never try.
Kazakhstan.
She doesn't have femme fatale has that like sex.
No, femme fatale is the
sexy
wrong
side,
word,
like especially the way the characters are portrayed in even a book or a movie or TV show. She's just portrayed just she's what she is who she is. I really liked her. I thought she was good. I like how she's sort of the antithesis to Indy's, always like trying to save artifacts to put them in the museum. Like he's never trying to get rich off any of this stuff. He's always the opposite of like a Nathan Drake or whatever. Whereas Phoebe Waller-Bridges' character is more in line with a Nathan
Chloe.
Drake. Yeah, she's Chloe, basically, yeah. For those playing along with our
Uncharted
relationship.
If you watched Uncharted with Tom Holland and
yeah. Which
yeah,
was also a film about people racing against each other to get to a certain location.
Get to a present with Antonio Banderas in that movie as well. So the whole first half is really fun. Helena gets introduced. She steals the dial. What are your thoughts on the dial? Because this is like a weird concept. There's this dial that can detect time fuse. The theory is they can go use it to go back in time.
I think
time fissures.
I think the theory is so you got to get the exacts right, and then the part where he becomes undone is that he doesn't allow for the difference in machines and stuff that would have been used, and whatever. Anyway,
I don't even
time
know
travel,
if that's 100% true. I don't know how they ended up at the point.
I don't know.
She says at some point the whole final act is like a blur because it's a bunch of gibberish.
Here's how I feel about the final act. I'm not against it in principle, because Indiana Jones has always had supernatural elements and all this paranormal and stuff,
aliens.
So, and I know everyone got really annoyed with the whole aliens thing, but I'm like, that was the least of that film's
some person gets magically skin just ripped off them, melted off their face.
There's always been like, but it's not like that film that since the day one, since Raiders, these films have had supernatural paranormal elements. So am I against the idea of some artifact letting you time travel? No. I think the problem is that they just do it. And it takes up.
They literally cast somebody as Archimedes and have him talk and interact with Indiana Jones. And Helena Shaw needs to convince Indiana Jones not to stay in the past and completely ruin history.
I think that's the part that annoyed me the most. Is just that whole back and forth about having to convince Indy that he has to leave. That seems so out of character. I feel like he would be the character telling people they can't stay there because you need to, like, you can't interfere and change history and stuff like that. It just seems even though technically they already
they technically
up until then I was.
They're always fated to go.
I mean, and that's when you get to time travel. It's a loop, and there's always fated whatever else. But I mean, up until that part, I didn't hate it. Like I could like them flying in. Like I just feel like it should have been shortened. It should have been a shorter scene. Yeah, it should have been a shorter scene that played out, and they should have never interacted with Archimedes or anything like that.
Yeah, very weird.
I think if I was going to do it, they have him go through the portal, spend a couple minutes there, and done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like there's much to say outside of that. I mean, I feel like the moment the film starts to go downhill is when they go diving. I feel like everything kind of slows down from that point. It feels like everything up to that point, the chase through Morocco or whatever, on the cars, that's super fun. Yeah. And then they just go diving, and they go to find this. That's the thing. It's like the searching for the thing is not as interesting. It definitely brings the film kind of to a halt. No offense to Antonio Banderas, and I guess they wanted to like have a fun spin on the snake thing, but it was so dark you couldn't really see any of the eels or anything. You're like, oh, I guess there's just a bunch of eels in here, I guess. Trying to bite him or something? I don't know.
No, yeah, that's exactly where I would say the film falls apart too. Is as soon as they head off to go find Antonio Banderas' character, from that moment on, the pacing just takes a deep dive. Literally.
Yeah. They stretch that out, and then they go to Sicily, and that also gets stretched out. That's like, how many different caves do you have going around in here? Even though I did enjoy Teddy getting rid of the massive dude by handcuffing him to the wall, that underwater. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fuck that dude.
I appreciate that.
And yeah, Teddy stealing the money from the rich prick. That was cool as well. You know, Teddy was a good addition to the group. You know, fun. Obviously, hard not to think of Short Round when you see a young kid involved in Indiana Jones shenanigans. Yeah, so we do end the film with Indy, after being knocked out in the past, wakes up in his apartment in the future. Or the present, I guess, in the day. And Helena's gotten Marion to come back and take care of Indy. And it's a happy ending. All the kids go and get ice cream. Is this the end?
Yeah, it's a whatever ending. I mean, they're trying to give Indiana Jones.
He grabs the hat.
Oh yeah, it is. They're trying to give him a happy ending, and like he grabs the hat and whatever else to tease.
What's he doing with the hat? Is it a role play thing?
Ultimately, we know there's not going to be any. No. Ultimately, we know there's no more these films happening. Harrison Ford just cannot do them. So, full stop.
No. Yeah, it's just kind of goes out with a whimper. I tell you what, would you watch a movie, Teddy?
Yep.
Helena Shaw?
No.
Spin-off?
No. I mean, yes, I suppose I would. Do I really care for it? Not really. Like, I think she was a fun character, but I don't. It's not something I'm going to be begging for.
Yeah. All right. Any other final thoughts on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny?
No. It was perfectly fine. They sort of, I don't know. I don't know who to blame for the fact that they had there was a really good movie here and it just got lost. I think this is too many cooks in the kitchen scenario.
I think the case was just very complicated. Actually, it might just be that we spent so much time like getting to the actual case. If you hadn't spent so much time in World War II, maybe it wouldn't have felt as long. I don't know. Definitely.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely things you could change.
But that was good stuff.
Yeah, it was really good though. So yeah. All right, let us know what you thought of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump into Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you enjoyed this episode, Thor's worth $1, head on over to our Koepp page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching somebody else.